Hello, this is Ruby, my mother Sherry, and my friend Gio is with us today. And first and foremost I want to say, okay, I lied, so I'm not completely done twitching. It's a half-truth. I can go like this, and this arm stops, but they're both kind of free, unless of course I knit. Yes, Mom recently started up came up with this idea that if I keep
the basal ganglia busy with a meaningless task.
This is
So essentially, if she keeps the basal ganglia busy with a task such as knitting, then she stops twitching. So I just thought if she was able to knit for an hour or two and get her brain to learn that she doesn't have to twitch, it might be helpful in the long run. So it's something we're trying out.
It's taking a lot of getting used to.
So far, so good though. She does tend to stop twitching, but you know, it is very difficult for her, you know, making her hands do exactly what she wants.
But it looks like we're on the right track here.
Yeah.
Every time I stop, I immediately start up twitching again, but if I can just keep going the way I'm going, I might actually stop this.
That's
See?
the idea. So her hands look pretty good now.
Yeah. Anyway, let's just leave that aside.
Okay.
This isn't a video about knitting.
But we're hoping that it will work, so, or at least help a little bit.
Anyway, that's the fun, handy thing. Now we're going to go to the sad things. I spoke very briefly about my mood swings, and they seem to sort of be getting worse. There was one time I was actually in the hospital, I think just a few weeks ago, while I was having a mood swing. It was incredibly bad, atrocious. I wouldn't let anyone talk to me, I wouldn't let anyone touch me, I wouldn't let anyone do anything. And that's one of the big bad things, is that there are these rules that are set forth and I can't work my way around them, and it does still occur every 9 days. And every 9 days I will put up messages that all my friends can see on Facebook or whatever, just sort of saying, okay, now I'm not normal, no one can talk to me, and that's what Theo's going to talk to us about. Like, how do you feel whenever I put up a message?
It's very confusing because you're on the outside looking in, you don't know what's going on, and you want to do something, but if you try, you're going to probably get your head chopped off.
Yeah, I can be a little brutal, and that's one of the big bad things about this, is that there's a small part of me that's still a little aware of what's going on and is absolutely sickened by what I do when I'm in these moods. But there's really nothing I can do. It's as bad as, like, one might say Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's just two completely different things, and we don't know how to stop it just yet.
Basically, every 9 days, it seems that Ruby is really drugged down into the depths of hell. And she spends 4 days in that hellish cycle. She hears voices all the time. She can't get all the noises out of her head. She's very sensitive to light or any other sounds in the room. And she can't stand, she can't see anybody's face. She'll never look anybody in the eye. She's just in her own little hellish world, and she cannot escape from it for 4 days. And then after 4 days, she comes out of it, and she's pretty much back to normal for 5 days. Yeah.
But there are two things that happened that were once exclusive to the mood, but about a month ago became a part of my regular thing. For some reason now, I cannot eat even when I'm out of my bad mood, and I cannot sleep during the nighttime, even while I'm out of my bad mood. And so now I've become
completely nocturnal.
Completely and totally nocturnal, and I just don't eat. And I inflict this upon my friends because I don't really explain it. It's a tough thing to talk about, and I don't really know how to put it into words. So like Gio said, I feel like it can be a little confusing, and I'm really happy that I do have a great amount of friends that are just willing to listen to these rules and understand that they are important and that need to be followed even if I never explain why.
Yeah, basically everybody just has to take her word for it because it's there's not much to see in her to see that she's really suffering. I mean, she becomes a very different person. Her pupils dilate as soon as she goes into this mood, and she gets a very different look on her face. But other than that, I mean, the twitching is a very obvious thing that people can see, and they can see that she's suffering with. But these moods aren't quite as obvious. You don't really know what kind of noises are going on in people's heads, and she's got a lot of crazy stuff going on that's very upsetting to her.
Anyway, I suppose that's that. Twitching, good. Moods, bad. So,
and knitting, we'll see what knitting brings.
And knitting, hopefully knitting will just finally wean me off of this whole twitching thing altogether, because I was able to sit down and knit for like about 2 hours last night, and I was totally still, even while I was thinking about how I was not twitching. Anyway, is there anything else you'd like to say? No? Alright then, we're content, and I hope that this has answered a few questions. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to us. Bye.